In this video interview at IBC 2012, I'm speaking with Marwan Fawaz, who's the Executive Vice President for Motorola Mobility. Hello, Marwan.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Now,
IBC, yet again, the dominant theme is multi-screen TV, so it just keeps on playing through. But for some of the service providers who have already deployed and they've got TV everywhere services, what are the next steps for them now?
Well, multi-screen still is the theme and continues to be the theme in many conferences as it relates to pay TV providers. There are more maturities and scalability that are still needed with multi-screen areas. One is around personalizations and synchronizations of content, managing the content on multiple devices in and outside the home. Second is the area related to content acquisition. There are plethora of contents everywhere, whether it's user-generated or over-the-top or legacy content, the ability to collect that and as it becomes available, make it available to consumers. And last, I would say around connectivity and discovery of devices. The ability to add devices as they become available, even if there are new releases of software, whether it's Android or iOS, new devices become available every day, and the ability to seamlessly add that versus waiting for complex integrations. So that's the type of scale and maturity still needed for multi-screen.
Okay, so I mean, in terms of scaling, are you talking about just the sort of the head ends and the amount of channels that you need and the sheer storage capacity? I mean, what are the key things for scalability?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. It's the ability to manage the network, from the cloud all the way to the home. That's one aspect. The second aspect is really the back office piece. That's the ability to match individuals to devices in their profiles and having them being auto-discovered based on where that device is, where they exist, whether it's in the home or on a commuter type of event. So those are the things that are still important in the overall multi-screen strategy.
Okay, I mean, in terms of profiles, I mean, when it comes to monetizing these services, we know that there are service providers who are charging, but there's not a lot of extra money right now. I mean, can we use that personalisation to sort of get more money from people?
Yeah, I believe so. At the end of the day, it's about simplicity to the consumers. As consumers subscribe to more services, buy devices, and then bring them home. You want to give them the ability to install it easy, to manage it, to troubleshoot it, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in providing that kind of peace of mind for the consumers that the product is well supported. The second area is I think it's around the services piece and the troubleshooting. When consumers given the ability to manage different usages in the home, a parent versus a child, what type of access to content, I think there are services there. And last is, I would say, really about the connected home, related to monitoring, security, management of energy devices. I think that there are opportunities there to tie that into all one big gateways that manages all those devices.
Yes, there is this view now that as the market matures, and it does look like it's getting harder to get revenues for TV. I mean, it's still growing, but we're working harder for it.
Yes.
So is that kind of connected home platform where we bring third-party services like energy, is that the next big opportunity for pay TV operators if they have broadband?
Yeah, I think it's one significant opportunity. I think other opportunities is to compete on speed and connectivity. So traffic continues to increase at 50% plus fold every year, depending on who you are as a service provider. So speed and latency becomes a big differentiator, and that's something that we focus on. Whether you're a DOCSIS provider on the cable side, or a telco with DSL, or a PON, fiber to the home, that's an area that consumers are putting pressure on the service providers to keep up with the ability, not just speed, is also adding devices so they can have the right experience for those devices.
Yeah, I mean, we actually hear about cable operators in Europe. Some actually say that because they've got the DOCSIS and the broadband, they win either way. Even if over the top became dominant, which I'm sure it won't, they have to provide the pipe. Somebody provides the pipe. So the cable operators look in a fairly safe position, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're pushing the speeds, and I mean, we're seeing speeds like 100 or 200 even. What will anyone do with that? I mean, do we know what people will do with the speeds, or is it just at the moment about having that on your marketing because it looks good?
Yeah, no, it's more than that. I mean, if you go back in history of in your home network, how many devices are being connected to your home? And you look at 10 years ago, maybe there are a couple of devices. Today, that number is closer to 10 devices. So there are multiple people, and the multiple devices are putting pressure on the network. So think about that 100 megabits per second that are being divided into those all devices that need, high definition quality or better experience, whether it's gaming. So that's and that number, our projection is will double again in maybe 5 years. So that's why speed is becoming a big differentiator. The other part is, as we talked earlier, and that is, creating a simplicity, a portal that onboard content, be it over, it could be over the top or over the top viewed by service provider as just another program that you can either board it onto your portal or give the consumers the ability to access it seamlessly. And I think there is certainly an opportunity for the service provider to continue the most relevant provider in the home.
Okay, now given all of that and the breadth of your business division, I mean, what are your priorities right now?
Well, our priorities are, multiples ones. The biggest one is around IP transformation. Everything IP all the time. And that's an area that we are participating extremely well in. And from the cloud through the network all the way to the home, that's an important area to help the service providers make that transformation. Others have made that transformations, but there's still some maturity, as we talked earlier. So we believe we are well positioned to enable that. A second area for us is global growth. We're being here at IBC, supporting our organizations and meeting our existing customers and also potential customers. That's a big opportunity for us, as a third of our growth comes from outside of the United States. So that's an area that's important to our business. Third area is about services and system integrations. Software is becoming very complex, whether you're a provider or a consumer or a solution supplier. We believe complementing our software solutions with a system integration resources, very important to make that successful, to partner very closely with our clients. And last, I would say, is innovations. We have not slowed down in our R&D, research and development work, innovating in areas, whether it's on our software side or next generation compression, HEVC. We continue to invest heavily in that. We're investing into areas to help improve the connectivity piece around the network, higher speeds, and more scalability on the network. So that's, the innovative part is, it's part of our DNA that we want to maintain that and continue to drive it in our business.
Great, okay, well, it sounds very exciting and plenty of work ahead for all of us. So thanks very much for telling us about it.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.